The Dallas Cowboys. What a year. What a year. What a year. What a year. 2 games out. And we going to be watching. We're going to be watching the postseason. Cowboys. We're going to be watching. That's how it goes. Reflections of 2024 season. We know Brandon Aubrey, he's good. We seen Rico get a chance to run. He's good. Rico's a free agent, so we don't know whether or not to bring him back or not, right? Bland, he's him. Bland is him. I like Bland. The things that we can look back at this season and say, all right, the guys that stood up and stood tall, we got to give kudos and credence to my guy, Cavante Turpin. He's more than a gadget player. I think that he blossomed this year. Shout out to Cavante Turpin. The offensive line, whether it's Brock Hoffman, Cooper Beebe, those are your two staple pieces that we learned from the interior that can play. They can ball, right? TJ Bass, got to give him something, right? Who else did we give a gift to? C.D. Lamb. Lamb is him. We see that he can play through injuries. He's a tough guy. Got to separate his shoulder week in and week out. Continue to excel. I like what I got a chance to see out of C.D. Lamb. Overshawn, of course, we want for him to have a speedy recovery. He showed us something. Mirus Leofau. I like Mirus. Out of this year, linebackers, you got to like what you've seen out of Mirus Leofau. Hopefully down the stretch we look at Mirus and say, hey, you remember when we was talking about that running back situation? Look at what we got now out of Mirus, right? Marshawn Nealon, the sample size that we got from him, I like Marshawn. Osa Odigi Ozua. I like Osa. I like Osa. Cowboys got to make a decision on Osa. Give him a gift. Bring him back. Chauncey. Chauncey did great for us this season. Shout out to Chauncey, man. Being able to stand tall, even though we had a slew of injuries. He grew a lot this year. You can't take away what he brought to the table this season. I like him. If we really getting into details of what Parsons is, continue to build around Parsons. I think first and foremost, he's the catalyst. He's the elixir. He is the straw that stirs the drink here. So, my guy, Parsons, yeah, he's the ultimate defensive player for this team. Let's continue to figure out ways. Not getting too cute, Cowboy Nation. Figure out ways. I do like the notion of what Parsons said. I don't have to be the highest paid player. I don't have to be the highest paid player. So now there's pressure on the boys to go out there, make sure the contract is solidified, and go grab more and more weapons on defense. Defense win championships, baby. And I know we're a long way from talking about championships. Overall, Zim's defense, just to me, Zim defense is a kind of caliber of defense that normally, historically speaking, year one, there's a little growing pains, a little hiccups. If the Cowboys smart and wise, they bring back Zim for another year or match this up for another 2 years and let Zim continue to build upon this defense. And I'm thinking that this defense could really go to higher heights, man. So I really like this defense. Even though we're not top 10 or top 5, but it's a potential aspect of it. What if I told you guys that this defense, with all of the pieces being missing, we still finished out above Washington, right? And that's where our defensive coordinator, who's now the head coach, they're at, right? And even though they have a stronger chance of going to the postseason and beyond and all of this stuff, but just looking at the raw numbers and everything, shoot, this defense, we got to, at this point, let's give a round of applause to Mozzie to a degree. He improved tremendously this season. This is his second season, by the way. Normally, interior guys take 3 years. So I would love to see what Mozzie looked like in his second season with Mike Zim. I think that we will be better in that category. I think we'll be better in that category. Offensively speaking, outside of CeeDee Lamb, outside of Rico, outside of, let's say, here, Schoonmaker giving us a few, hey, look at that moments there, blocking pretty well, catching the ball in traffic. Shout out to Schoon. But outside of that, let's give a round of applause to Cooper Rush. 9-4 as a starter. He's doing exactly what a backup quarterback's supposed to do. He got a good quick release game. Is it the best of the best as far as quarterback stuff? No, but it goes to show you that if you can play sound defense and keep things afloat far as the front five, then you have a chance. Now, even though, like I said, he's 9-4 as a starter, you got to look into a whole bunch of other things that got him to that 9-4 marker. Granted, hear me out. I know a lot of Cowboy fans that's so ready to say, yeah, Cooper Rush is better than Dak Prescott. But if you listen to those who calls the game or what have you, and who absolutely understand the game, you can be better if you put these type of things around your starting quarterback. Block it up front and play sound defense and put some more playmakers out there. If Rush is able to do it, then you can scale it even higher when you get a quarterback with just a better delivery of the ball and better mechanics and a whole bunch of other stuff. But not to take away from Cooper Rush. Let's give him his flowers. He deserves it. 4-1 down the stretch, being able to be on a team with a winning side. Now, granted, we can go through the nuances of who we played and these sorts of things, but it's football. It's any given Sunday. Any given Sunday. And when your name is called, can you stand tall and can you deliver? And that's what we've been looking for. So if you're looking into this season, the things that we look back at and say, okay, where can we improve? Well, I still want two things. I want the ability to run the ball and stop the run. And this next year's draft, let's not get too cute. We drafting anywhere according to Tankathon now, between 14th spot to the 17th spot. And I have the Cowboys doing something strange in these last two games. I'm talking about winning. So if the Cowboys figure this out, ladies and gentlemen, it should go just like this. It should go just like this. The draft is here. You see Genty. You run, Jerry. You run. You almost break your leg to pull that card in and say, hey, I want Genty, right? And if Genty is not there, if some strange world, Tet is there, McMillan, that kid who's 6'5", looking like Megatron out there. If he is there, you put that card in there and you say, all right, cool. I got Tet. Luther Burden, if he is there, ultimately, if Luther Burden is there, you put that card in for Luther, you know. But if it's a crazy possibility that those three guys are all there at the same time, Tet, Ashton Genty, Luther, not Van Droff, but Burden, then my goal would be go get Tet. I think that in the second round, you still can get Omarion. You still can go get the kid from Iowa, name at the tip of my tongue, Jacobs, I believe. But you can still go get the Ohio State boys, whether it's Judkins or Henderson, either one of those boys, right? You can still go get a running back, but just don't wait too long. Just don't wait too long. Don't wait till the 4th or 5th round saying, hey, now I'm going to look into the possibilities or the ramifications of getting a running back. Maybe Gideon's or what's the other kid? Neal. He's out there. There's a lot of running backs. Those boys may not make it to the third or fourth, but I want the Cowboys to focus in on these type of things. Run the ball and stopping the run. So in the second round, Jahad Campbell, I like him. I like the Campbell kid. I think that's how you say that kid's name, Jahad. I could be off on the name. I like his tape. But if you fool around in this draft and try to get too cute, a lot of things can go south, right? So make sure you go over everything. I know it's still soon for to be talking about draft. We got 2 more games left. But when we digest everything and we look at everything and we say, what can make the boys better? Running the ball and stopping the run, of course, but also having another threat on the outside like a Ted or like a Luther Burden, or even in the second round if you get a Trey Harris. I wouldn't be mad at that. When you look at this team, or the kid from Ohio State, Emeka, those are guys that can stretch the field, that can point the ball, that can help out on certain factors. I truly believe in this particular draft that even though we look at this team and we said, okay, Brandon Cooks, he stood tall this year, Jalen Tolbert, Jalen Brooks, and all of those boys, I'm with the belief that you can still match up another wide receiver with CeeDee Lamb. Offense be even more explosive. You still need to go into this draft and find a running back to match up with Lamb, to match up with this backfield, with this front 5. I think that those things can work. Law, but what about our front 5? I think that we found our rhythm, our groove with this front 5 with Brock Hoffman, TJ Bass, as well as BB. I think that you found your grooves a little bit with that. I like Zach Martin. I get it with Terrence Steele. But I think that when you got rid of Zach Martin due to the injury, the offensive line improved. I think that our other glaring hole on his team, if we can do this one little set on his offensive line, it's not popular opinion. Unpopular opinion, by the way. But it falls in lines of what Big Nate Newton said. Big Nate said this one little thing that got my mind rumbling. Awesome Richards was your best left tackle last offseason, according to Big Nate Newton. I get it, we drafted Tyler Guyton. But what if, and I know Awesome, he snapped up his leg and everything, and shout out to Chuma Edoga, but I don't want to bring back Chuma and all of this other stuff. But what if, hear me out, Awesome Richards, Tyler Smith, Cooper Beebe, Brock Hoffman, and those 2 guys are interchangeable. Let me know how y'all feel, whether or not you want Brock Hoffman as a guard or center, but BB as a guard or center. And then you fight with Tyler Guyton and Terrence Steele. And if Terrence Steele don't give you that extra, you know what I mean, that extra, you can cut him. You'll save $12 million. You can utilize that money and dance in the free agency. Not saying that you're looking for an offensive lineman, but for sure, dance in the free agency to shore up maybe a defensive back, because we going to need a defensive back. And one of the things that I've been saying is that you don't want to go into the draft hungry or grocery shopping on an empty stomach. That's enough money, about 12 to 13 million dollars that you freed up. You have 23 to 24 million dollars. That's a lot of coins now that you can operate and work with, and make a will and deal. You go ahead and solidify my guy Michael Parsons, right? You go ahead and solidify that, but then you go and find another veteran DB to pair up with Bland, and of course whatever deal that you work out with Jordan Lewis. That way, when it's draft time, you're not drafted based off of needs. You're just drafting off of BPA. And it don't have to necessarily just be a defensive back. But you guys get what I'm saying. I want the Cowboys to be proactive in the free agency. Don't wait until after the free agency and after the draft to start looking at free agency. Go ahead and make that move, right? That's all we've been saying. But post me your thoughts, post me your concerns, everything down below in the chat, in the areas of where you can chat at, and let me know how you guys feel about everything. Happy holidays to all of you all. Let's continue to grind to shine. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Let's go.